not see auras or energy. I felt it in such a way that I knew we had to do something together. We didn't know what it was at the time, but when this whole thing came about, she kept coming to mind. So when I was talking about the different energies and the frequencies and what we can exchange, she automatically had that positive energy. Right? So when I put this event together, and obviously for me, I realized that we need to have the balance of all aspects of life, right? I had to make sure that she was involved. And in fact, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have had Nas here, which started out the meditation. We wouldn't have had El Hope, which started out a phenomenal show for us. If you guys missed that, oh my gosh, we'll have it on video. We'll put that out there. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce her tribe. But I'm just very, very thankful that she joined us to really put this together. So please give it up for Miss Tree Hill.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? The nerves really never go away, no matter how many stages you touch, right? So my name's Tree Hill. Myself, Amy Devine, and El Hope, who will be joining me in just one moment, will be leading you guys in a workshop. So if you have any paper, utensils handy, please bring it out, or just your phone is fine. But we're going to utilize that today. Without really talking about myself, I'm just going to be myself. And so I want to introduce Amy Devine, who's a singer-songwriter. She's also getting into producing, great at visuals. Amazing artist. She's also a really dope marketer, advertiser, you know. So if you want to come up, Amy. And El Hope, Amy's also a poet.
Thank you.
So to say that.
Hey, what's up?
Elle is also a poet. She's a writer. She's an author. She hosts a few shows downtown. I'll let her let you guys know about that a little later. She also hosts a few workshops and really tapping into the community and teaching people how to expand in depth in their creativity and become successful poets. There are a lot of poets out here who tour the world, who make a lot of money doing so, and so she's a literary artist, and so the Grammys they do have a spoken word. What do you call that? Spoken word category. Yeah. And so we're here to sort of kind of talk about the poetry. If you want to come up, Elle.
Yeah, give it up for her, y'all. Give it up for her. Give it up for El Hope, y'all. Yes.
I do want to add one thing to that. So I know they're saying poetry, but the reason why I thought this was perfect before I give it to you, my love, is because you guys are all lyricists, right? So we need those bars, those hooks, right? So poetry, lyrics, music works hand in hand, right?
Yes.
Dope. Cool. We're all gonna stand. That's all. Dope.
We can sit.
If you guys want to sit,
we can sit.
But thank you all for being here. Of course, I know. We've all said that. Everybody who came up here, and so I want to start with how everyone is feeling in this now moment in one word, out loud, simultaneously together. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, bless.
Okay, cool. Okay, I also want to remind everybody to take a sip of water if you have water. Just a water reminder. It's important to hydrate. And not just because it's hot in Vegas, but because the more water we have in our system, the more clarity we have as well. And so, I also want to give you all a permission slip to take a sovereign moment to yourself, right? And this means to detach and connect within, just to take a moment. And this may help. I received this mantra from one of my teachers. who says, circumstances do not matter. Only my state of being matters. And does that land? So repeating this mantra, circumstances do not matter. Only my state of being matters. It allows the ego mind, which will continue to keep you busy and tell you what you have to do or what's on your schedule. It allows you to actually be in control and take a sovereign moment to yourself and get back to your calendar and to-do list later. So just want to invite you guys to do that for a second as well. To detach, take a sovereign moment. But you have to say it. You have to claim it, not just listen to me. You have to actually, hey, taking a sovereign moment to myself, claiming your sovereignty. And for those who have never attended a poetry workshop, we usually start with writing prompts or visual prompt or an object, something to get the gears going. But right now, instead of giving you guys a writing prompt or a visual prompt, we just want to invite you to write down whatever's on your mind. So with that paper or your phone, pull it out. And whatever's top of mind right now, you're going to have 4 minutes. We're going to time it. And just get out whatever it is that's, you know, it could be a grocery list. It could be something that's bothering you. It could be something that's joyful. Doesn't matter. But take 4 minutes and go ahead and write. And while you're writing, breathe. Remember to breathe. Remember you're in your sovereignty. And if you're not writing, just breathe. If you're just coming in, feel free to write. At 2 minutes. What's real for you? What can you no longer ignore? And is that real? What's real for you? One minute. 30 seconds. Eight seconds. Okay, and we're back. How'd that feel? Feel good? Cool. The point of that exercise, we know many of you are singers, songwriters, or producers, or, even if you paint or whatever you do creatively. We want to challenge you to actually use this, whatever you wrote down, even if it's just one word, to create your next project. So if you're a songwriter, that's your next song. If you make beats, that's your inspiration. If you paint, that's your next painting. And so that's the challenge with this prompt, so you can take it and do something with it, especially for those who may experience writer's block, right? Just having some content. So if you're looking for content, that's new content you have right now. And however you want to break that up, you have a narrative to begin with. And so we wanted to offer that to you. And that's typically how we, as poets, write poems. And as poets, we don't have much limitation around structure. And in songwriting, you've got to consider structure, but you can take a poem and structure it. And so today's talk is going to be about truth in lyrics. And so you're writing down how you feel and what's real for you right now, what's most potent in your field, what's most potent for you right now. Wow, I just went a little blank right now. What's most potent for you right now? To be able to actually use that in real time, practically in your creativity. And, like I said, production, song, whatever it is. And so, I'm going to pass it to Amy. And before I do, I want to say that this depth, or being more vulnerable when you're writing, allows you to take what's in the peripheral view, or what's subconscious to you, into sight, into light, right? And so now there are no blind spots. Or when there is a blind spot, you're able to see it, you're able to write about it, you're able to create something with that. And so tapping into what's subconscious, or your subconscious, or what's been blind, to allow you to grow. So your own personal experience is your content. So, yeah.
Thank you, Tree. That was beautiful. I hope that was impactful for you guys. I hope that worked. I hope that inspired something that's going to make something beautiful later. I'm really excited for you. I know that feeling. I'm going to get into the segment called Answering the Call. And I want to start with a quote. I like to start with quotes. Karen Wheaton said, "When you arrive in heaven, you will know that answering the call was worth it. Answering the call is always worth it." Okay? So whether you're just starting out or you're already kind of a seasoned writer, there's going to come a time when you're going to need to answer the call. And I'm sure some of you in here already know what I'm talking about and know what that is, but just in case you don't, there will be many calls. Being a writer is a gift, right? Knowing how to write, knowing how to produce, knowing how to paint, knowing how to do all these things is a gift. But also being your authentic self is important, right? And in order to be a good writer, you need to be authentic with yourself. You need to be tapped in truly to yourself. These two ideas must align. But what is a calling actually? Well, it can come in many different forms. For example, it might be literally a calling for an opportunity. It could be a crazy idea. It could be an out-of-this-world concept that comes to you at 3 a.m., right? These are all callings. All of these things are important. And you'll know it's a calling because your intuition is going to tap in, is going to tell you, hey, my friend, are you going to do this thing or are you not going to do this thing, right? And when you choose not to do it, it's such an injustice to yourself, and to the collective. But when you pick up the phone and you talk to that opportunity, you talk to that idea, and you talk to that concept, this is a form of honoring your authentic self. Being authentic, we are going to really harp on this a lot, right? And you hear it a lot, I'm sure, but really think about what that means for you. And in your lyrics, trust yourself. Take chances. Be open and listen to that inner voice. That inner voice is going to give you the answers, the lyrics, the poetry, the things that you need, the vision to paint, right? That's where all of these things come from. When we sit in the studio and we listen to that beat and it's like, oh, okay, feeling that. And then you start feeling that melody and you start writing that lyric, right? Where do you think that's coming from? That's higher self is coming in. That inner self is coming in. But you got to listen to it. But tapping into your higher self is, again, authenticity. And your listeners, your viewers, people who experience you and your art, they always want the truth, right? Isn't that something we all want, right? For example, so you ever listen to a song or see a painting and you feel like, damn, they really understand me. Or they must have wrote that song just for me, right? You feel that because that artist was being authentic with their art. So you could feel that. It's important to be honest and authentic. My debut album, Spells, that's out on all streaming platforms right now, is based on my life experiences and what I was going through at the time. My father had passed, my mother had passed, I lost a baby, and I was going through a really painful divorce. And I didn't really know what to do with all of that pain. So I literally poured my authentic self, I poured all of my feelings into that project. And because of that, I'm able to connect with other people who also are going through those things. And that is the most feedback I get about my project is, wow, I feel you on so many levels. That is the point. Yeah, we want to get streams. Yeah, we want to sell out venues. Yeah, we want to do those things. But truly, at the end of the day, we want to touch hearts and we want to touch minds with our art. That's why we're here. That's why we're artists. And you don't need to be anything other than yourself. It's really easy to get caught up in, dang, I really want to sound like this. I really want to be like that. I really want to look like this person. This is it. This is what you got. This is the vessel. Let's embrace it. And that includes embracing your art too. And the sooner you tap in with that, I think I heard a download the other day. It said, the sooner you accept who you are, the sooner you'll find peace. And I have it on my sticky note in my mirror, and it reminds me, accept it and celebrate it and share it if you feel called to. So let's give ourselves permission to let go of who we think that we are and be open to who we truly are, right? Because sometimes we think we're this and we're that, and even if we think we're just this amazing thing, that can also sometimes set boundaries. Be open. And that just, again, goes right into going within and tapping in. Higher self will let you know what's going on, what you need to be. So this kind of segues into our next segment of broadening your horizons and how important this is. So for a moment, I want you to reflect on your own creative style. Just reflect on that for a moment. Have you ever thought about trying a different style? Exploring something else, even playing around with your structure, your flow, your delivery, your sound. Let's take dancers, for example, right? Dancers study various styles. Even if you have a die-hard hip-hop dancer, boom, 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 guess what? They're still at the ballet studio studying ballet. Why do you think that is? Because ballet is going to teach them grace, balance, posture, and poise. And guess what? They're going to take those tools and they're going to apply it to their hip-hop routines. And it's going to be even better and more powerful. So if you're a poet like me who's really into really like soft and beautiful things and love and butterflies and rainbows, I really want to start stepping into maybe a little bit more slam style. Teach a little bit more, learn a little bit more. That's the beauty about style exploration too, is when you try different things, you learn something new about yourself. Because even that hip-hop dancer that's at the ballet class is like, dang, I didn't know I could pirouette like that. Yeah, you wouldn't have known that had you not opened yourself up, right? That goes back to opening up to finding out who you really are. So when you explore different styles, remember, as an artist, you're exploring different parts of yourself. And that's a really beautiful, exciting thing. So, Elle, do you have anything to add to that? Thank you, Elle. Thank you so much.
So basically everything that Amy said was so true. And just speaking on the key point of like broadening our horizons. Before I kind of tap into like different resources you can look into. One thing that I always teach my slam team out here, and right now we're actually in the process of like annotating their poems into performance and how that process will go. And so the first thing I teach all the poets that I work with is that you need to know what your intention is behind this piece. And when I say intention, most of the time people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about women empowerment, body positivity, and it's a fuck you to my ex-boyfriend. Which is great. Right. Which is great. But we need to dwindle it down a little bit. What is the true intention behind this? Because it can only be one thing. As much as we want it to be this broad spectrum and we want it to hit all these different audiences, it actually has more impact when you just choose one audience. So, for example, maybe a poet was like, okay, well, I'm just going to talk about body positivity. That's beautiful. Perfect. And so when we go through the editing process and the performance process, and we're trying to choose what the tone of the sound will be, what beat of actions will they use to propel the tone further, or even in the editing process, when they're like, I don't know if I should keep this line, add in a new line, take out this whole chunk, what should I do? I always tell them the same answer, and it's you go back to your intention. You always revert back to that. So if they're like, I don't know if I should add this line in here. Well, does it align with your intention? Does this line propel your poem further? Does this line propel your song further? Does this one hook in your beat, does it propel the whole project further? If it doesn't, then here's your answer. You know, if it does, perfect, include it. Find a way to make it work. So yeah, I always say intention is the most important, especially when it comes down to projects. I recently just released my first ever anthology, self-published. Thank you. It features over 20 plus young Black poets from all across the Las Vegas Valley. And the intention I set with this project wasn't me being like, oh, I need to, you know, put a book out there and like put my name on it and all these different things. The intention was inspiration about giving others an opportunity and giving others a chance. And through that, I had the most blissful experience. I had an incredible production team. Everyone, all the poets who were accepted in the submission process, completely professional, and it was amazing. And I truly believe the whole reason that project was a success was because I set a clear intention with a pure intention included that. It was much bigger than just it being an ego or selfish thing. So keep that in mind too when you're creating projects, even if it is like, you know, this is my solo single, whatever, have clear intentions throughout that entire process. I promise you will see a difference. But now talking back into like broadening horizons. What Amy said is so true, and I think when you're tapping into your subconscious and really trying to gain access into the material that you have stored back here, that you may not be aware. For some of us it might be hard, right? For a lot of us, you might not even be meditating in the morning. Today might have been the first time you ever meditated, which is congratulations. And so tapping into that isn't as easy. So I have a couple resources and just tips to provide if you're not there yet and you want to broaden your horizons. And the first one is read. I know no one wants to hear it, but I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're not a poet, whatever, if you're a producer, if you're a songwriter, if you're an artist, you need to read. Do not limit your mind. And your Twitter feed is not reading. Okay, that does not count. If you want to become a better writer and a better artist for yourself, you need to broaden your horizons. You need to open yourself to different universes, different narratives. And that's how you truly get better at what you do. It doesn't, sure, 10,000 hours a year, now you're a professional, great, but you need to be able to be multidimensional with yourself, or else you'll always be stuck in that one thought. The second one I can point out is travel. Recently I actually just got back from AWP, which is the largest conference in the nation for writers. And I'll be honest, I'm human. I was kind of in a writer's block before I went out there, and I felt really stuck. And it was kind of just the environment I was in. I was seeing the same thing every day. And so going out there, meeting people who are in the same industry or what I like to do, having just normal conversations, seeing new landscapes, I came back fully refreshed. So if you're having writer's block and you're stuck, you're not able to tap into yourself, you feel like you're not writing as authentic as you usually are, I would say try to change your environment. Maybe just go for a hike, go to the mountains, do something different. And also a change environment could be, go to a different open mic. If you're trying to get exposure and keep going to the same open mic, you're like, I'm not as inspired anymore. I feel like no one's really fucking. I don't know if I'm sorry. No one's really messing with me like that. Then try different open mics. Change your surroundings. And then the last thing I think people should really try to get into more is seek mentorship. Okay, it does not diminish your title or who you are as an artist if you work under someone or you seek mentorship from someone. The reason I'm at where I'm at today and I have the platform I have is because I have amazing mentors. And these are just genuine people that I met through open mics, that I met through networking like you talked about. Honestly, pre-game, the most success I've had came through networking. I don't have an agent. I'm not signed to some big publishing house. The reason I'm where I'm at today is because I just network and I know people, and I'm willing to work under people to gain that knowledge and just see from their experience, from their mistakes, okay, cool, that's how you did it, this is how I'm going to take it into my realm. So just be open to that. If you know someone who is doing what you like to do, be like, hey, can I sit down with you for one session? Or can we just plan a coffee date and just talk about the realm of art we're in? You would be so surprised the amount of inspiration and knowledge that will come through that. So please seek mentorship. I think as a community, as an art community, we really need that unification back. What we have here is amazing, but it should be like this all the time. We shouldn't just feel like we have to isolate ourselves into these different communities. It should be all of us uplifting and sharing knowledge so we can all win. I can guarantee you there's more than enough space and room in this world for all of us to win. So just remember that. So, thank you.
Yes, Elle.
And so I'm gonna pass it off to Sheree here, and she's gonna wrap it up on here.
Thank you, Elle. Thank you, Amy. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I'm working on my public speaking, and
you got it.
It's interesting being on stage because allowing you all, or I feel it, but allowing myself to be vulnerable and to go through all the facial expressions and the breathing and all that is important for me, at least, to show other people because, it takes time to develop that. So that's for me. I wanted to say that out loud for me. But we're going to close it up, and we have some questions, but we want to end on this, we want to end on this note. Are you willing to be authentically you, day to day, day by day, and in your creativity? And so with that prompt that you have, I hope, obviously it's just a suggestion that you create something with that. And are you willing to be just as vulnerable as you were on paper every day and in every interaction at your best? Just at your best. And so thank you so much. Appreciate you all having us. And,
Did anybody have any questions? Did anybody have any questions or anything like that? Yes.
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite poet and why?
We might have one of the same favorites because I seen your post yesterday.
I guess I'll start. So I recently just auditioned for Ruby Carr's World Tour.
You?
So who loves
Me some Rupi Kaur.
she's amazing. I think she's amazing how she's propelling poetry further into like more of a mainstream narrative. I'll say that poetry is the next wave. So if you're not on it now, you better
Get on it.
And so definitely Ruby Carr, James Baldwin as a classic, and then for a more modern and contemporary poet, I would recommend Jessica Salgado. She's an LA-based poet, and she's phenomenal in her performance and just for as a human. So I would definitely recommend checking her out.
Awesome.
I would definitely recommend Pablo Neruda. He, he has this book called 100 Love Sonnets, and I've read it a million times. And he dedicated the whole book to his wife, and it's Spanish and in English, but the English translation is the way the words that he chooses, the choices, and it literally breaks your heart. Like it just. Anybody know who Pablo is? Anybody in the room? One? Okay. So that's y'all homework. Just Google it. Even just Google image it, and there's like they have little poets like on little just like quotes from the poet. Please,
What's his name again?
Pablo Neruda, Neruda.
One more time.
Neruda, Neruda. He is everything. Just very loving. It'll touch you in ways. Just the manipulation of words is incredible. Very tapped in. I'd also recommend, outside of Rupi Kaur, because oh my God, is this artist. Her poet. Her name is Lang Leave. Anyone heard of her? She is a poet, and she does poetry and prose. Her books are amazing. She has this book called Sea of Strangers. She also has a really beautiful way with words. So, Lang Leave, Leav. So, yeah, that's what I got. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. That's our time, and we appreciate you spending this time with us.
Thank you for your question. Thank you so much.
Okay. That was awesome.